Getting closer to the end of the year, it is for many of us time again to make New Year's resolutions. And although I don't make resolutions at the end of the year and already do so throughout the year, I know very well that it is not always easy to actually put them into practice and especially to keep on doing so. So, in this video, I share a few questions with you, and by answering these questions, you will be able to find out whether these resolutions are right for you, and if not, how to adapt them so that they are right for you and therefore easy to put into practice. The first question is, why is this important to me? So, as an example, one of my resolutions is to go for a run twice a week. So I can ask myself, why is it so important to me to go for a run twice a week? And the answer is because I want to stay healthy, both in my body and in my head. And I can repeat this question to find out a little bit more about why this is important. So, why is it so important to me to stay healthy in both my head and in my body? And the answer is because I want to be able to keep up the energy I have now to put into my Sustainable Decisions project and to keep on making a huge positive difference to our world. The second question is, how can I make sure that I keep up this energy and keep up being able to make a huge positive difference? There are many answers to this question. So, for example, keep up the loving relationships I have with other people, and another one is definitely by staying healthy. The third question is, what can I actually do to make this come true? So, in my example, what can I actually do to stay healthy? And again, there are many different things I could do. I could make sure that I eat enough vegetables, I can make sure I sleep enough, drink enough, get enough sunshine, and also to do enough sports. However, doing enough sports is not very specific, because what is enough? So that's why it is also important that my goals, my resolutions, are SMART. SMART is an abbreviation. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Specific stands for that the goal should not be too general. So, for example, if my goal is to do more sports, it is too general, because what is more? So, by saying I want to go for a run twice a week, I make it specific. M for measurable means that I can quantify my goal. So, in my example, going for a run twice a week is measurable, namely 2. I can also say I go only once or 3 times, or I can do it slightly differently. I say I go for a run for at least half an hour. That doesn't matter. To me, it is right to say twice a week. The A for achievable means that I should actually be able to achieve the goal. So if I would set myself the goal to go for a run every single day and run a marathon, that's not something I can actually achieve. However, go for a run twice a week is definitely something I'm able to do. The R for realistic means that apart from being achievable, it should also be realistic. So, for example, if I would set myself the goal to go for a run 5 times a week, and at the same time I have a family with, for example, 5 children, then that's not very realistic. And it might be more realistic to say, for example, I go for a run once. To me, going for a run twice a week is very realistic. The T for time bound means that I actually set myself a date and time before I want to achieve this goal. In my case, that's not really relevant, because I want to have my goal as an ongoing goal and I want to keep on running. However, if I would set myself the goal to run half a marathon by the 1st of July, for example, then that would be a specific date and time. So, looking back at these SMART guidelines, I can see that my resolution of going for a run twice a week is very good, and I really feel like doing it as well. However, as I already said, I know it's not always easy to do so, and I also have an example for you in which it didn't work out that well. So yes, I also have resolutions that don't work out so well. And one that didn't work out was studying 15 minutes a day. And at first I didn't realize why that didn't work, because I think it's actually a very good idea to learn something new every single day. But by answering my own questions, I did find out. So I first asked myself, why is it so important to me to study 15 minutes a day? My answer was because I want to do the things I'm already doing in a better and more efficient way. And I repeated the question, why is it so important to me to do the things I'm already doing in a better and more efficient way? And my answer was because I really want to make my self-employment work in the long run. Then I asked myself, how can I make sure that my self-employment works in the long run? And my answer at the moment is that I want to get my finances right. Because if I don't get my finances right, I at some point have to get a job again. And when I'm in a job, I have less time and energy to spend on making a huge positive difference. So the next question I asked myself, what can I actually do to get my finances right? My answer to that was to offer additional products and services that are not for free. And of course, I made this goal more specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-bound. And today I'm not going to share it with you yet what it is, because I want it to be a surprise for now. However, most importantly is that it showed me that studying 15 minutes a day wouldn't get me any closer to making my self-employment work out. So, to summarize, and feel free to practice with your own resolution straight away. First, ask yourself the question, why is it so important to me to do this? You can repeat this question several times, whatever is right for you. Then ask yourself, when you found out what is really important to you, how can I actually achieve this? And it is likely that there are several ways you can achieve this. And if that's the case, pick one of them that is most relevant for you at this moment. Then ask yourself the question, what can I actually do to make this come true? And when you write down actions or goals, make sure that they are SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-based. And when you've done so, it's very likely that you have found a resolution that suits your goals very well. And because of that, it will be a lot easier to put them into practice and to continue doing so. And I have some final words for you, because before making this video, I practiced these questions with others. And I realized that when answering these questions for the first time, it might not be so easy. And that's okay, because you can practice and you can always go back. So, for example, when you come up with a resolution that turns out not to be right for you, you can always go back to your why and find out whether that what you thought was very important for you is indeed that important. And when it is, maybe how to get there wasn't right for you at that moment. Or if that was still right, maybe the specific actions and the SMART goals you set for yourself maybe weren't the right ones. Just give it another try and you will learn more and more about yourself, and eventually you will find resolutions that do work well for you.